talking about this situation with the Super Bowl halftime show, and I know because of yesterday, I missed and wasn't able to do the show, so I didn't have an opportunity to really comment on it like everybody else has had the opportunity to do so. And I really thought for kind of trying to, give everybody the benefit of the doubt on all of this stuff, because I know there's so many of us, we hear, especially on church side, we hear that the guy is so secular, the guy is so, lyrics are this, and his, he has all these other kind of things going on in his stage shows and his just total lack of things that most people consider values wise. And I get that, and how as we as Christians we need to take stands for that. But again, these guys are lost. So I try to give a little more grace to it, and then you had the other side who's like, yeah, well, we got to watch an American show from Turning Point USA. And look, I think the Turning Point USA people are great, and I really dig them, and I was appreciative of them, trying to do a different counter programming, and by some measure of success, good, because I guess they drew away about 4 or 5 million people, at least by one count. Maybe it was more, because they did do it on multiple platforms. So maybe they even got as maybe as 10 or 20 million, which would have been great. The Super Bowl halftime show with the Bad Bunny character was like 133 million. Yeah, it was good. It was a nice initiative to be able to try to do that and be able to do it. But to think that one was more, I don't know, godly or God serving than the other is kind of hard to say. I mean, when the entire bowl halftime show from Turning Point USA was basically just country music, like you would hear any other things on the radio, all the regular songs about, fishing and hunting and tailgates and all of that, to have them be, looked at as somehow more a godly thing than what was happening on the other channel, I don't know so much. I mean, they did at the very end say that it was, the Bible was meant Kid Rock at the very end, I guess. And that was kind of the saving grace for everyone, I assume. And I just got to thinking, really, it's a matter of taste. And again, I'm not trying to defend the Bad Bunny guy. I'm really not. Because having seen the translation of his lyrics, and this, hearing about the different kind of sexual dances and stuff that they were doing, yeah, that's a little much for a Super Bowl halftime. That kind of, I thought, went a little bit too far, right? But this Kid Rock show, holy, I just don't know. And then I came across this article on Facebook that I thought was really pretty powerful. And it was, have you met the American Jesus? It was posted by a guy named Heford. And he said, I haven't, but last night showed us exactly how comfortable we're being with a counterfeit. See, there was a Super Bowl and 2 halftime shows. One, he's not a Christian. The world acting like the world shouldn't shock believers. Again, that's my point exactly. But the other halftime show, Ryan Teford continued, says the Turning Point USA event with Kid Rock, that's the one where the alarm should have gone off. Because this is what was sung on stage. And the topless dancers, the Northern Lights and the Southern Comfort, and it don't even matter, and their veins are punctured. All the crackheads, the critics, all of my heroes in methadone clinics. And then Jesus' name is mentioned at the end. And suddenly, for many Christians, it's all acceptable, forgotten, all excused. This is the American Jesus. The version of Christianity where you can glorify addiction and sexual immorality and brokenness and then sprinkle on top and call it bold faith. People will say Jesus sat with sinners. Well, yes, he did. He called them to repentance, not to celebrate their chains. What a great line that is. Anyway, he continues on this, says Jesus didn't use sinners as pain entertainment, normalize destruction. He came to set the captives free. This just isn't revival. This isn't revival. This is just as patriotism. It's truth diluted just enough to feel safe. Not everyone who says, Lord, Lord, will belong to him. Not every statement, not every mention of Jesus is worth. Okay, I've got to take a break, but this is such a good article. I want to continue this post when we come back. It's the Steve Marston with us. We'll be back after this. Oh, I'm sorry. We still got a bit of time left. So anyway, this post about the American, I will continue it here as we move on the Steve Marston show. Again, big time show coming up for you. We've got a couple of special guests today, and we've got our Faith Between Our Ears verse coming up as well. So stay with us. We shall be back soon. It's a Steve Marston show. Don't go anywhere.
what matters most.
All right. Hey, welcome back. It's the Steve Marston Show. Sorry about all these technical difficulties, you guys. I'm not sure exactly what's going on and why we can't get connected like we have a gazillion other times. But be that as it may, we're not going to let the devil steal our joy today, right? All right. Ray Williams is our guest here. Ray, I hope you can hear me.
I can. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Ray is a good friend of the show. He is with City Church Network and with the Arkansas Marriage Initiative. And it's always a wonderful thing to be able to talk about marriage and to be able to especially talk about the Arkansas Marriage Challenge that's coming up starting this week. Actually, it started, I guess, yesterday and continues on through Valentine's Day, right?
That's right. Yeah. Last week we had a chance to talk about it coming, but it's here.
That's right.
Valentine's Day is this Saturday. And so this is National Marriage Week. And along with that, the opportunity to celebrate and invite Arkansans and Arkansas churches to join in what we call the Arkansas Marriage Challenge.
And for those that aren't familiar with the Marriage Challenge, it's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It's actually something where you guys come along and partner with churches when they say, hey, you know what, we have an idea about doing this. How can you guys help us, right?
Yeah, that's right, Steve. We want to take this opportunity during National Marriage Week just to say marriage matters. It's a moment to say marriage really matters. It matters for families. It matters for churches. And it matters for cities and communities. One of the things that we know is that children do better in just about every way when they have the opportunity and the privilege to grow up in a biologically intact family. The marriage research tells us that adults are happier. And in just about every kind of social outcome, marriage makes a positive contribution to that. And so since there's some challenges that we're facing in Arkansas right now in marriage, we wanted to mark this week to say marriage is important, and then also to offer just some real practical things that we can all do to help.
Yeah, and to that end, I know a lot of churches, not just here in Central Arkansas, but all over the state, have gotten involved, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We don't know the total number of churches that are offering real practical ways to encourage and help couples in marriage, but we know that there are churches, many of which are listed on our website. So if people go to arkansasmarriage.com and look for where the opportunities are, click on that button. You can see churches that are offering practical things, at least some of the churches that are, but there are churches we know of in at least 9 cities that are offering ways to help couples in marriage.
That's fantastic, because you and I talked a little bit off air last week about the divorce rate and how high it is here in our state, which you would think Bible Belt, maybe even the buckle of the Bible Belt. Arkansas, you would think, you know, we're in such every statistic that's bad, we're high in it and low in it. The good statistics usually, but you would not think that be the case in divorce, but really it is.
Yeah, I'll never forget. It was actually February 13th of 2023. It was sitting at my desk going through emails, and one popped up. It was from U.S. News and World Report. And the headline just said, divorce rate ticks up. But 2 or 3 paragraphs into it, I read that Arkansas in 2022 had the highest divorce rate in the nation. And I was shocked. I was stunned. I couldn't believe it. And the skeptic in me, I actually went and researched and looked up to make sure for myself. But I learned it was true. In fact, I learned that year we were 60% higher than the national average.
60% higher. That's a huge number. Do you have any idea what might be the cause or some theories?
Yeah, you know, I've been asked that question before, and I really don't know the answer to that. I mean, there are a lot of things that are offered, but one of the things I do know is that the church has a unique opportunity to help change that story. And so that's what we're excited about, is how can we bring the hope and the gospel of Jesus Christ into that in a way that will change that story, change those statistics for Arkansas, because you know, statistics are one thing, but those statistics actually represent real people, you know, real families that have been affected by the hurt and the pain and the brokenness that happens when a marriage ends. And it's real children who, you know, don't have a mom or dad in the home and are experiencing the impact of what that means. And another stat that's really compelling for me is that now more than 1/2 of the children in Arkansas don't grow up in a home with both mom and dad.
Really?
And again, the researchers tell us that the kind of ultimate privilege for a child is to grow up with both mom and dad in the home. So it makes a difference. And so really, we hope to see marriages increase, divorce decrease, but also to see more children growing up with mom and dad in the home. And when that happens, it will be better for children. It'll be better for families, be better for our churches, our city, and our state.
Well, you know, Ray, I say that I'm shocked by that, but I think back to one of the wonderful privileges our church has in our town is the ability to be in the schools to teach some character classes and things of that nature, and even be able to touch on the Bible as a historic document as well. And I can very well remember my youth pastors telling us as a congregation that out of a school full of middle schoolers, and I can't even remember the total number, but I think he said it was only 30 something that had a 2-parent home out of like hundreds, you know, of kids. Only 37 had it. And it was that's just mind blowing. But you're right. You wouldn't even think that should be called a privilege. That should be called an expectation. But But that's why the Arkansas Marriage Initiative is here, and that's why City Church Network is a part of it, and so many other churches are as well. You're listening to the Steve Marston Show. Ray Williams is our guest, and that's what we're talking about, how we can strengthen our marriages and help kind of turn the tide a little bit. And the Arkansas Marriage Initiative is doing the Arkansas Marriage Challenge. And I know you've got a prayer, not journal, but a prayer guide that's out.
Yeah, well, that's right. And that's one of the things that we can all do, is that we can pray for marriage and families, its importance. And so that prayer guide is at the City Church Network's website, citychurchar.org. But along with prayer, we want to invite those in Arkansas that are married or engaged, those that are couples. If you're hearing this, you may say, what can we do? Well, in addition to prayer, we want to encourage you this week to do just one of three things: go on a date with your spouse, sign up for a marriage class, or find a church that could help you do a healthy marriage checkup just to see how your relationship is doing.
Yeah, and that healthy marriage checkup, we talked a little bit about that last week, but let's hit on it again. What exactly does that mean?
Well, one of the leading marriage researchers in the country, Dr. John Gottman, says that oftentimes for marriages that are experiencing some strain or challenge, that couples will wait 6 to 8 years too long before they get help. You know, we're just we're afraid of we don't want to be the only ones that, feels like we're struggling. So it feels like I want to keep that, kind of close. So the idea of the checkup is, what if we promoted just the idea in our churches of all of us from time to time doing a healthy relationship checkup, just like we would a medical checkup, a finance checkup. We all do that at various intervals. And in fact, last week I shared the story of how this last year I had a routine medical checkup that led to my having a heart cath, where I learned that I had a 99% blockage in my Widowmaker LAD artery in the same day the physician put in a stent and saved my life. And that might not have happened had it not been for that checkup. And so one of the things that we all can do as couples is just take a simple marriage relationship assessment. There are many good ones out there, and our churches know they have those assessments and access to them, and they can help us as Arkansans just to do a healthy marriage checkup.
Yep, absolutely. And that's such a great and neat thing I don't think a lot of people think about. But also let's circle back and hit on to a date night as well, because I think especially for younger couples, they think, my goodness, life is just so crazy and so fast, and the kids have got to go all these different places, and we've got all of our other commitments going on. How are we ever going to get a date night? But the main thing is to just do it, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be something fancy where you go out to $100 steakhouse dinner night. It's just mainly getting away with you and your spouse for a couple of hours, even if it's going to just get a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah, anything where you take the time just to set aside a few minutes, an hour, an evening, just to spend time together is going to make a difference. And especially if you'll develop the habit of doing that regularly. Now, because it could be a challenge for some, there are churches in our communities that are offering community date nights this week. But even if you can't find a church near you, just even go online and Google date nights, and you can easily find hundreds of ideas. And I would encourage you, just find one of those and spend some time together, just with your spouse. Just talk with one another, get reconnected again.
Absolutely, it is so important, because that's the preventative stuff, right? We talk about the checkup, and we talk about the marriage education, which is an important piece as well. But the date night, all of these are preventative, so that you don't have to worry about the blowout down the road.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. And it's such a worthwhile thing to do. And it's needed, especially as Ray outlined with the divorce rate here in our state being so incredibly high. Now it may have come down since that 2022 number, but it's still way too high, especially for a state that considers itself a Bible believing state. This is the Steve Marston Show here on Faith Talk 99.5. Ray Williams is our guest from City Church Network and the Arkansas Marriage Initiative. And we're talking about the Arkansas Marriage Challenge that is going on this week. So let's kind of look at it from in the last couple of minutes that we have, Ray, kind of look at it from an opposite kind of point of view. Maybe you and your spouse are doing these things and holding everything together really pretty good with your marriage. How can we be encouragements to those around us who maybe are struggling a little bit?
Yeah, Steve, I'm glad that you brought that up, because as we talk about marriage, it's important for us to do that, but just our having the conversation, I think, could be painful for some for a variety of reasons. Maybe someone who's worked really hard, but their marriage is struggling right now and not sure whether it's going to be able to survive. Maybe some have experienced a broken marriage. Maybe there are those who have lost a spouse even recently, and so the pain of their spouse not being there. And then I know in our audience there would be young men and women single who long to be married, and for whatever reason that hadn't happened yet. So I know that to talk about marriage can bring pain, and I would simply say that Jesus Christ, the gospel, brings an answer and hope to all of us. And so he loves us when we maybe have made mistakes that have led to challenge in our marriage. There's forgiveness to be found in Christ. When there are needs that we feel like aren't met, he is the one who can ultimately meet our needs. And then I'd say the church, the body of Christ, as churches, we can come around those who are experiencing hurt and brokenness in their relationship. So even as we celebrate National Marriage Week and we invite churches to the challenge, we want to be in prayer and thinking about all those who have been affected in one way or the other by marriage. And if I could, Steve, real quick before I leave, I wanted just to say, since it's Valentine's Week, happy Valentine's Day to my wife, Carolyn. And this year we'll have the privilege of celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary. And I love her more today than ever before.
And you get such brownie points for doing it on the radio. Good job, Ray. All right, we will take a break. Thanks so much, for joining us, Ray. You are the best. And again, check out ArkansasMarriageChallenge.com and the Arkansas Marriage Initiative. Okay, we'll take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll have more. It's the Steve Marston Show, and we will be back before you know it. Stay with us.
You've likely heard people say, that may be your truth. If it works for you, great, but it isn't my truth. How should Christians respond? Is there such a thing as absolute truth? Explore Jesus's exclusive claims in a special program you can listen to that Truth for Life with Alistair Begg has set aside, teaching you how you can express conviction about God's absolute truth. To listen to this special program, text TFL to 94878. Again, text TFL to 94878.
Have you noticed losing weight is harder than it used to be? You're eating better and exercising, but the scale barely moves? The real problem isn't willpower, it's metabolic dysfunction, and standard dieting just makes it worse. PhD Weight Loss has helped thousands fix the root cause of stubborn weight. Take their free metabolic assessment at fixmyweightloss.com. Fixmyweightloss.com. It's quick, personalized, and shows why your body is resisting weight loss, so you know exactly what to fix. Visit fixmyweightloss.com. That's fixmyweightloss.com.
From Lionsgate and Kingdom Story Company.
I Can Only Imagine by Mercy Me, one of the most beloved songs of all time.
I mean, what did you think was going to happen? You're just going to ride off into the sunset, no more struggles or pain?
Comes the highly anticipated I Can Only Imagine 2.
God is in fire. I mean, it's beautiful.
Imagine what God can do again. I Can Only Imagine 2. In theaters February 20th. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
For decades, Dennis Prager shared his wisdom with listeners around the world through his lectures, courses, interviews, and debates. Now, for the first time, the collective wisdom of Dennis Prager is being made available as a podcast. Listen to Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager, with new episodes released for a limited time only as a podcast. Subscribe for free today at DennisPrager.com. That's Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager, exclusively at DennisPrager.com. Don't miss cutting-edge coverage of daily news from an America First perspective on the Alex Marlow podcast on the Salem Podcast Network.
Everything I'm seeing from the public is that public does not like the idea of just pure welfare and charity being done for people who are able to work and are not willing to work. So able-bodied people have got to get back to work.
Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Methodist Family Health has more than a century of providing the best possible care to those who may need our help. As we move forward through our second century, we are adding another nonprofit behavioral hospital for children and adolescents to our complete continuum of care. No matter the names of our programs, Methodist Children's Behavioral Hospital, Arkansas Cares, Methodist Counseling Clinics, we are all Methodist Family Health. Many names, one care.
The most unique show you'll hear today. The Steve Marston Show is back.
Yes, indeed, we are back. Thank you for making us a part of your day. We have had the craziest day trying to get this radio program on the air. I'm in quarantine because of a gnarly virus that has infected our home. And I didn't want to, take the chance on getting other people sick at the radio station. So I thought, well, just do the show at home. And look, I've done this 1,000 times at home. And yet for some reason today, everything went bad. We were going to do the video. We were going to have everything ready to go. And we had it even tested going pretty well. And then comes airtime and everything kind of goes to pot. But look, we're not going to let it steal our joy, right? We're not going to let it get us down. So we're gonna power on through and continue this edition of the Steve Marston Show. We're thankful that you are here, and I want to tell you about the show's website and specifically a PDF we have for you. It's called 5 Tips for Bible Study. It's at stevemarstonshow.com/store. You just go there. It's absolutely free. Fill out the little form there, and we'll send it to you. And it's a free download. It comes as a link. You click on the link and you open it up in your inbox, and there you'll see it. And look, it's nothing earth-shattering. It's not anything necessarily that is revolutionary in terms of creativity, but it may be revolutionary for you if you apply some of these when you open up the Word and you want to take the time to really learn and study. Because I think that's what a lot of people struggle with the most is, how do I study? What do I do? Outside of a devotional book, outside of a workbook, outside of listening to a pastor on the radio or in church, what can I do? How do I study for myself? So I think it'll really help you. It helps me. And these are things that I use. So if you're so inclined, again, stevemarstonshow.com/store and get your free PDF. Again, no clickbait, no, paywall or anything like that. No fine print. It's just there for you if you are so interested. All right. Faith Between Our Ears is a segment we do every single day. We come up with a Bible verse that we try to learn together so that we're able to take that next step in our faith, because really that's what this show is all about. This show is about growing in our faith, not just staying stagnant. Because look, you and I both know so many people that haven't progressed in their spiritual walk. They've been saved for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and you don't see a whole lot of growth, right? I know you don't want that for yourself. I don't want that for myself. So what we try to do is take some of these Bible verses and learn them together so that we can have them at the ready. When life starts smacking us around, we can have these right there at the forefront of our thinking. That's why we call it faith between our ears. Because faith, I think, is so much of a mindset. Knowing what God's word says versus what others say, what those voices in our head says. So this week, we're going to be looking at Psalm 46, verse 10. It's a familiar one, and this one should be extremely easy to memorize because it's only a handful of words. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 words, if I'm counting right. So have no excuse. We should be able to learn this one. And this one is as powerful as it is pithy. So here it is. Psalm 46:10, it says, he says, talking about God, be still and know that I am God. And how often do we get so panicked, so beat up by life, so much in a tizzy that we don't see, hear, or feel God in the situation, in the moment. That's what life can do to us. And because we're so busy running around trying to find an answer on our own, we completely can miss him. And that's the beauty of this verse, to be still, but not just to be still, but to know that he is God. See, it's one thing to be still and still fret. You know, you don't have to be all anxious, but you can be not in the right mindset. However, when you're still and you just release and rely on him, all of a sudden now you'll know that he is God. And what does that mean? It means a rock solid assurance that he is there. Now, it may not seem like it through the circumstance or through your situation. It can be all panicky. That can still all be panicky, but you can know that he is God when you're still and you're just releasing and letting it go to him. He will give you that peace and that comfort. That's what it's talking about, that knowing. And again, it's assurance. That's another reason. That's another way you can have it be on the inside of you, is to understand that it's more than just a knowledge in your head. It's a rock solid assurance. Does that make sense? Psalm 46:10. Let's learn it. Whatever it takes to do that, write it out, put it on a sticky note, say it out loud over and over. However you learn best, make sure you get this down. And again, look, it's only like 9 words or so. So make sure you get it, and we'll tackle it again tomorrow and continue to learn this verse as we move through the week. Okay, we've got to take another break, and when we come back, we'll have the funniest comedy clip on the internet today. We'll do that when the Steve Marston Show continues. Stay with us. We're back now.
I'm Pastor Josh Schwartz.
And I'm Ken Michael.
And it's our privilege to co-host Understanding the Times, the program founded by Jan Markell.
And we're committed to bringing you the same cutting-edge guests and information to help you discern the truth.
So join us each week on this station for Understanding the Times Radio.
Join us at midnight and 9 a.m. Saturday, midnight and 2 p.m. Sunday here on Faith Talk 99.5.
If you're a business owner and a listener here, you might not realize that the Christian programming that you enjoy is advertiser supported. Our loyal audience loves to do business with advertisers who make it possible for us to share the gospel over the airwaves and online. To learn how to reach our audience with your business, just go to salemsurround.com. Our media professionals can help you with any questions you have about radio or digital marketing. When you advertise with Salem, our loyal listeners know that you care about our programming as much as they do.
So you need a new roof for your house. You got a leak. I can only tell you, go with the best. Go with the folks that I use. PI Roofing. PI Roofing will get your roof taken care of. They'll deal with the insurance people, the appraisers, and all that stuff. All you have to do is call them and ask them to help you. 501-707-3548. It's a number to call so you can talk to the good folks at PI Roofing.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. And you might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life, but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Need a good shot of your favorite pastor? Well, you can get him anywhere and everywhere at oneplace.com and the One Place app. If you missed the daily dose of encouragement you need, find it there. If you want to hear that great sermon one more time, it's all there. We don't encourage you to leave this station, not ever. But when you want to repeat, you know where to go. Oneplace.com and the One Place app. No matter what happens, we're always on.
Friday on Truth for Life, Alistair Begg explains that God is in control in good times and in bad.
Now, when you and I begin to depend upon divine providence in that way, it will allow us to endure our afflictions without undue complaint, and it will allow us to experience our encouragements without undue pride.
Listen Friday to Truth for Life.
Here at the Steve Marston Show, we are serious about faith, but we love a good dad joke, too.
I have a joke for you.
Okay, I want to hear it.
What do you call a bug that got ran over by a lawnmower?
What do you call a bug that got ran over by a lawnmower? I don't know. What?
Shredded tree.
Oh, hey, that's very good. I love that. What's your name?
Grayson.
The most unique show you'll hear today. The Steve Marston Show is back.
Yep, we say it's the most unique show because we blend fun and faith. We take them both seriously. And there's just not too much out there like it. And we're glad that you're here. As we get ready to send you home, we always like to put a smile on your face as you head out the door. It's kind of like a benediction, a good word as we depart from our company together. So with the Winter Olympics going on, I figured it would be fun to find a video or a comedy piece about said Winter Olympics, and who better than maybe the greatest of all time. Here's Jerry Seinfeld.
Many events of the Olympics don't make sense to me. I don't understand their connection to any reality. Like in the Winter Olympics, they have that biathlon. You know, that one that combines cross-country skiing with shooting a gun. How many alpine snipers are into this? But ski, shoot a gun, ski, bang, bang, bang. To me, it's like combining swimming and strangle a guy. Why don't we have that? That makes absolutely as much sense to me. Just put people in the pool at the end of each lane for the swimmers. And that other one that I love is the luge. You know the luge where the guy wears the slick suit? This is on the bobsled run, but it's not even a sled. It's just Bob. It's just a human being hanging on for their life. This is the whole sport. Just, oh, he pointed his toes. Oh, this guy's a tremendous athlete. The luge is the only sport I've ever seen that you could have people competing in it against their will, and it would be exactly the same. You know, if they were just grabbing people off the street, hey, what is this? I don't want to be in the luge. You know, you put the helmet on him, you wouldn't really hear him screaming, just, you're in the luge, buddy. World record. Didn't even want to do it. I want to see that event next year, the involuntary luge.
Sounds fun. That's Jerry Seinfeld. Our special thanks to both of our guests today in San Antonio and in Little Rock. Appreciate both of them joining us. Thank you so much for listening. Gold Star to producer Tommy as well today. And we've had a good show. Thank you so much for being a part of it. We'll get back together at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Lord willing, I'll be back in the studio. Till then, bye.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. You might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life, but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by...